it's a Kitchen Finks and it's lands, I think.
Okay, that's grand.
Maybe he's so sick of not having lands in the last game, he kept too many in this one. That Thought Scour, Milling, and Electrise, and a young Pyromancer. Maybe that Electrise being a bit relevant with a Snapcaster later, but not for now.
Absolutely.
Draw for the turn. That's a Sun. Oh, I forget that name. Sun Petal Grove.
Sun Petal Grove.
So Sun Petal Grove there by
One
Anti.
of the buddy lands.
And he's thinking of running his Kitchen Finks here into Remand and Mana Leak mana. I don't think he minds Remand too much, but that a Mana Leak would be quite annoying, as it seems to be one of the only threats in his hand. He also has a Thragtusk tucked to the back there.
Absolutely.
Kitchen Finks, and oh, that's a big resolve.
It is.
Going back to 22. He hasn't taken any damage. Phil cracking his land.
Yeah, let's see what Phil's going to be getting here. Okay,
Probably,
he's just
probably
fixing.
another Thought Scour.
Absolutely. So he does have lightning bolts in hand.
So he can kill this, but 2 for 1 yourself to kill a Finks isn't fantastic.
He could just go Garmag Angler right now. He's looking at like the double lightning bolt, but that's just.
Is Pyromancer Lightning Bolt is a line? Yeah, Pyromancer Lightning Bolt. Pyromancer is going to eat the path that is intended for the angler as well. Sword of
Worn Piece.
Worn Piece. And that's gonna be excellent here, and
I
a
don't
good time to resolve it, because Phil can't counter it off 1 mana.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a fair point. And if you get it down and so what else do you have? Is that a cranial extraction? No, it can't be.
Wait, who knows?
Cranial extraction can be paid for with Phyrexian mana. I mean,
yeah, seems fine. This matchup against Snapcaster decks, Cranial Extraction, excellent.
yeah, I think you lead off with the. Okay, he's going to lead off with the Sword of Worn Piece. I feel like you lead off with the Path to Exile.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind attacking first as well.
Sure.
Getting the attack in is probably the right order you want to do things. Bolt is going to come down, get it off the board, and then you're going to have some options. Oh, Phil just taking 3. Which is also fine.
Sure.
We'll see a Pat now, no doubt. Unfortunately, you'd prefer to wait, but you can't.
Sword pass turn.
You don't want to pass the turn, because then there's a chance that Pyromancer survives and he gets an extra counter off a counter spell. You want to do the Pat now when you know it's safe to. There's no real counter spell. I wouldn't say that Phil is bringing it into. I wouldn't say Phil is bringing in the spell in this matchup. It would seem like bad sideboarding by Phil.
Yeah.
So Pat is mega safe there, where if you untap, there's the option of getting blown out. Especially you're playing into Remand by playing the sword first.
So yeah, I mean, this Kitchen Fink's still alive, and
just a 1/1 on the side of the field for Phil. If the sword tries to touch the Finks, though, bots are going to start raining down.
Yeah.
2 more bots in Phil's hand, so you can stop that sword from being a thing for a while.
Another young Pyromancer. That's a great card. Yeah, it's got both from red and white. None of your bolts terminates. Any of those do anything.
Yeah, he's going to have to be careful. He really can't let this sword hit a
Mana Leak spell snare. So yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty happy with just lightning bolting the Kitchen Finks, getting in for 1 pass turn, having another lightning bolt up.
I think he keeps it up. I think he wants Anti to commit his mana to
putting on the
also
sword.
By double lightning bolting, you give him a chance to resolve a worship.
Serum Vision.
Serum Visions get a counter. Now this
Thoughtseize.
This is interesting.
Thoughtseizes on the bottom, land on top.
Because what's going to happen, I assume, is Anti is going to try and pat that Pyromancer again. Phil's going to have to bolt in response, and then that Kitchen Finks is going to.
Well, the
I think a mistake has been made here. Oh no, they're just a disparity in life totals. It's fine, they've solved it.
Yeah.
So if Anti pats before he tries to equip here, Phil is going to have to try and bolt to get value out of his Pyromancer now.
Tectonic Edge. This is actually funny because now you get to hit the steam
Tectonic
vents.
Edge, yeah, that's really good. He gets to hit the steam vents, he gets to pat, and he gets to equip the
There's
sword.
a Voice of Resurgence in Anti's hand, so yeah, he might want to just get out the. He's got a lot of ways of forcing the hand of this young Pyromancer.
I think his worst play would be equip, without doing anything first. He just wants to make sure this Kitchen Finks has the sword on it. It doesn't matter when.
Yeah,
it has the sword on it.
But if he actually goes,
I think he wants to lead with Tectonic Edge to untap steam vents and see what's up. If a lightning bolt hits, then he can then pat the Pyromancer and the Finks can wear hat.
Yeah, he's got both. He's got both Tech Edge and Voice of Resurgence to force the hand of Phil.
Here's something that's very interesting. There's, and that Anti mightn't know, but there's a Ghost Quarter in his hand, and if he Tech Edges this Steam Vents,
yeah,
and then Ghost Quarters this Swamp, Phil only has a couple basics, and a lot of these lists only run one
of each.
Yeah, so he would get rid of black.
Actually,
this Gurmag Angler would be big.
Yeah, let's see.
So I think with that Voice of Resurgence, his play sequence should have been Voice of Resurgence, see what you do, into
that's
play my land.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Phil has 2 islands, 1 mountain, 1 swamp. Now, Anti playing out the land though does protect him from mana leak. Oh wait, he's only got 1 land up. Sorry.
Yes.
So yeah. I like the Voice Resurgence play first.
There's a lot of options considering you're just a green-white deck. You had a lot of options here.
Is he going to try and equip? Phil allows this to resolve.
Yeah, I don't mind trying to equip now if you're going to get a free token out of it.
Sure.
Going to bolt in response.
Get a token.
Get a token.
And
your tokens are a lot bigger than his, and that sword doesn't hit the Finks. And now he's going to get the Pat the Young Pyromancer as well, and those 1/1s looking a bit worse.
No, don't pass turn. Oh.
Interesting pass in turn. Maybe he doesn't care about these Young Pyromancer tokens. You have somebody, you have a decent blocker for it now. You got 2 decent blockers.
Thoughtseize.
You got her. Oh, no Pat. Okay, sorry folks. We got it wrong. Only 1 Pat. That makes a lot more sense to sequencing a place.
Yeah. But that's fine. I mean,
if there's no removal spell, there's still another bolt here by Phil, and the thing is he has to bolt now or those tokens keep piling up.
Yeah, but it's really unfortunate because he's stuck in this position of he doesn't have any way of stopping a sword getting equipped to a thing without giving Anti a token, and yeah, he's passing turn, not using the bolt. He
can't really. That, as I said, that sword cannot be allowed to hit.
There's nothing you can do to stop.
Now there's an interesting play where if Anti draws any creature, he can play a creature, and that token becomes a 4/4 before he tries to equip as well. So he's going to Tectonic Edge the Steam Vents. Is a Ghost Quarter. If he might be able to Ghost Quarter this black. Wait, hold on. That's a Tech Edge.
That's a Tech Edge.
That's a Tech Edge. Okay, sorry. Producer caught it in time.
Yeah, we're gonna get to shuffle that.
This is only regular rulings.
And most he'd get a warning.
Hold on. Just to the producer, he asked him if he saw any of his cards with Serum Visions. Does he know the bottom cards of his deck with Serum Visions?
It's too late. It's been shuffled.
Yeah, but this might lead to a game loss.
No, there's no game losses.
There is. I discussed this with Sander. There's game losses. You can, if he knows the bottom card of his deck, that's unfixable and it's a game loss. Like, it's literally unfixable. We can't verify what's in the bottom of his deck. Hold on 1 second.
No. He Serum Visions to the bottom, but then he shuffled.
Yeah, I just need to find out exactly what happened.
So yeah, it's just this is only the unfortunate side of Magic. It is a complicated game. There's a lot of moving parts, and sometimes just things get caught up in the model, and the rules just they have to take place. Certain parts of the game, if they just don't function correctly, there has to be game losses. So we're just going to see how certain spells were sequenced. It looks like there was a Serum Visions after there was a fetch, so it might be a problem. And it's not nice as well to have a game loss given this way. But alternatively, if this Magic's complicated, we don't know how the rest of this game will go. But this Sword of War and Peace, it would do a huge number on Phil. I mean, he gets to put it onto one of his creatures and attack in. Phil would his only block is with Delver, or potentially, yeah, his only block is with Delver, because that 2 mana that is tapped by Anti is being used to equip. So even if he bolts whatever Anti's equipping, he still gets to, he still gets to equip onto another creature. He's got another elemental, and suddenly everything's gone really wrong. And of course, Phil doesn't have any sort of board wipes like Anger of the Gods or Pyroclasm, because they're kind of a nombo with his deck, especially with Young Pyromancer and Delver. So yeah, it's a kind of an interesting one. It's a tough one. So we're going to see now. Dave C definitely working through the rules here.
Will, who apparently has some judge training, has said that he's fine with them shuffling.
Oh yeah,
up the
Will
decks.
is a judge, because unfortunately our judge who's usually there is Sander.
I would disagree with the judging decision, but this is regular, so
He just let it go.
yeah, he said just shuffle up and continue playing. So now this sort of War and Peace is going to try and hit that. Yeah, Delver of Secrets blocks a Voice of Resurgence with a War of Peace on it.
I think Anti overtapped there. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry, the lightning bolt hit, so he's got Phil Elementals. And I was talking as well about how he's got a Spell Snare, a Mana Leak, and a Serum Vision. None of those particularly good.
And no
right
double blue because of that Tectonic Edge.
Wow.
So really needing, I don't know, both an answer to that sword and a blue source somehow here. Double bottom.
He actually has Colligan's command.
He might have sideboarded out. I don't know.
He might have. He's got one of in the
He
main.
didn't see a sword in the. He didn't see a sword in the first game.
Sure, but it's still a decent value card.
So here we go, passing it with the turn again. And do you think he's going to attempt this Ghost Quarter? Ghost Quarter Swamp? Make Gurmag Angler?
It's definitely a possibility. Okay, so, and we're going to see, I presume, only the voice coming in. Kitchen Finks. So no, he's not going to be Ghost Quartersing.
Which is fine. Like, you can't depend on how many swamps is running. If you're also not incredibly familiar with the format,
yeah,
you mightn't know that it's only one swamp in a lot of these. Also, a bit of a mistake maybe casting the Finks pre-combat. A little bit of less damage with that sort of War and Peace, life gain even with that sort of War and Peace.
Absolutely. But yeah, as well, it's pretty relevant that he has no all red creatures, meaning Sword of War and Peace is quite good. It's just really good right now. Everything he has on his side of the board.
I was kind of surprised to not see an attempt of putting that Sword of War and Peace on one of those tokens. If Phil terminates,
he gets another token.
He gets another token. If Phil doesn't terminate, he gets another token anyway, and you just get to equip it to the other token.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of free to do that.
Okay.
And you get to keep more cards in hand to gain life, but that Sword of War and Peace, Sword of War and Peace is going to take away this game fairly fast. That Gurmag Angler not even big enough to block one of the tokens with that Sword of War and Peace. At the moment, it just trades with the voice.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. So, let's see. So Gurmag Angler
just choosing his delves because he does have Taskers in his deck, so it's relevant.
Yeah.
The thing is, he can't even get Snapcasters.
Yeah.
He can't even get aggressive here because he just has 3 good blockers and such a high life total.
Yeah, it's this deck is working. It's ticking all boxes. When we see he draws for some land, and you know it's going to be fun.
Here comes the equip on the token.
When a single worship comes down, just that worship.
Yeah, Gurmag Angler has to hit the bin. Phil on chump blocking duty from now on.
There's a tech edge. Oh, you got a tech
edge. So it's nothing. He only has 3 lands.
Oh yeah, of course.
Now it's free information to Ghost Quarter the swamp now.
Yeah.
Technically, you give your opponent a slight.
Yeah, he's just passing turn. He's going to let him.
Technically, you give your opponent a slight. If he does have another swamp, a slight higher chance of drawing a spell.
Pass turn. Let's see what Anti drew. He's going to swing.
It's the win. Just win. Phil playing it out to the end every time. Make your opponent swing. Let him overthink it if he wants to. I think would be his philosophy. And I wouldn't be surprised if Colligan's command is coming back in here. Spellskite also an option here.
Yeah, no? I see.
Was that a Colligan's command?
I believe so. It looked like a gold card anyway.
There's also Terminates that he might be double thinking the Terminates, seeing that there's actually some targets.
Sure, but none of them are good.
None of them are great, but if they go unchecked, as you see there, it's also not great.
But what do you do? It's like, okay, I'll kill your Thragtusk. Oh, you've got a 3/3, which matches up pretty well against all my creatures, except for Gurmag Angler. Oh, okay, you've got your Voice Resurgence. That's actually not great. I genuinely want to see if his deck looks like, in order to... Could he fit Lingering Souls? That's always what I'm looking at. It's like, could you have the black to fit Lingering Souls?
I think the beauty of these decks sometimes is that
the mana efficiency.
Yeah, you only have 2 colours. Mana isn't bad in Modern by any stretch, but the fact you have to take very little damage off your mana base, and you're never getting screwed. Like we saw, the mana in the Grixis Delver deck is very good, but we saw Phil there get choked up on mana.
And we saw as well, Anti got to have like 2 Ghost Quarters and a Tech Edge and have no effect on his mana.
Exactly. You do gain a bit being able to play the Tech Edge, pretty underplayed in the format at the moment, and maybe we'll see a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah.
Not punishing as many decks. Maybe some blue, white, red big deck again might pop up being playing Tech Edges like it used to.
I'd love to ask Phil how often it happens that you get to make 6 or 7 tokens with Young Pyromancer and they do less than nothing.
Less than nothing.
It's pretty amazing. Like, it's just like, because every time I make like 6 or 7 tokens, I'm like, how can I lose this game? How is it actually possible without a board wipe of some description? How can I lose? So yeah, it's really funny.
We're going to see Phil on the play, very importantly for this third and last game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as well. Like, and I feel like making these kind of rogue decks that aren't like, rogue doesn't mean bad. I think a lot of people have to start think about that. It's like, there are so many cards in Modern, and I feel like there's ways of attacking it. And we talked as well about this before, that the format has slowed down to such a degree that it might have opened up for these kind of more quote-unquote rogue decks to pop in.
I don't know. I have a pretty easy flow chart for Modern. Are you Splinter Twin? Then you're tier 1. Are you Splinter Twin? No. Then you're basically ham sandwich.
Top deck.
Uno cards. One of the hippopotamuses from Hungry Hippos. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's not a card, man.
It doesn't matter. I stuffed it into a sleeve. We see a Batterskull in oh no, that's Sword of War and Peace. And then another mulligan for Anti. No, he's kept this time. Turn 1 Delver right where Phil wants to be. He's probably taking the full complement of 3 damage here. Windswept Heat. Can we see maybe a Noble Hierarch or a Bird's Paradise here?
He's got a Path to Exile in hand. But I don't think that's where you want to be at.
I think you're pretty safe to do it in the upkeep here. Again, Dispel is not a card you're going to bring in. But doing it in the upkeep is absolutely fine. But again, Anti might know that.
Yeah.
Is he thinking of maybe getting a Temple Garden instead?
Yeah, he might be.
Might need to.
Look at all those worships. Look at them. Bright but shiny beacons.
No, beacons were pretty bad. Bad cycle of 5 mana sorceries, man.
Those were excellent.
I wish Green Beacon was back in the format. That was sweet.
Back in the format.
Back in the format. There's a Beacon Green deck. Maybe I'll play it next week.
Bring it back.
Is he going to do it now? Just try to avoid any counter spell shenanigans? Or no? Yes, Path to Exile.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's how Anti's going to lose. I mean, if he doesn't have any... it's actually a Sword of Light and Shadow. He's got a Restoration Angel as well. If Anti doesn't have...
I think.
Yeah, if Anti doesn't have Kitchen Finks or anything like that, just a Delver can just steamroll you.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any... I don't think anything can go wrong by untapping.
Delver.
This is the second time that Phil is...
Wow, Phil's only on 2 land. Phil didn't find it a second land.
Yeah, so that
or a third land, actually. So that Path to Exile helped.
Oh, and a miss.
He's got a Thought Scour.
And a miss with a creature.
He's got a Thought Scour right now.
Phil missed a beat. If he had a Thought Scour in hand, he could have triggered 1 Delver and then Thought Scoured between triggers to try and hit the second one. But maybe not what he wants to do here. Keep up Spell Snare instead. And that Voice of Resurgent keeping off all the Delvers. Considering his plays here, Anti. Gonna crack a fetch. Again, only 1 mana open. We're only looking at Spell Snare here. 3 mana spells absolutely fine. Throw Ascetic would be troublesome. With 9 damage, a potential 9 damage. Let's see if Phil. This next flip is so important for Phil.
So yeah, this is the choice. Phil kept 4 Delver dot hand.
I think if you're not going to keep those hands, you might as well not be playing the deck, right?
Yeah.
The Sword of Light and Shadow, looking the most unimpressive I've ever seen a Sword of Light and Shadow. I'm a big fan of that card. No attack either, he just wants to stem his life. He knows he has that Restoration Angel. Yeah, Phil knows, in between triggers, gonna Thought Scour. Yeah. That first one didn't hit, it would have been a land though, Black Land. Interesting. Second one hits.
Boom!
Third one hits.
So 2 get to flip, 6 damage in.
And that remand, super important. Restoration Angel not being able to be flashed in here.
Well,
has to be played
unless no, because Phil doesn't have the land.
Yeah, but it has to be played in the main phase instead of in Phil's turn.
Sure, just in case Phil draws a land.
No, because he can just remand as it stands.
No, he's tapped out.
Yeah, but it has to be played in Anti's turn, not Phil's turn. The Restoration Angel, because if he passes a turn
and Phil drops land, yeah, like I said.
No, not if he drops land. Just at the current board state, Phil can remand.
Where's the 2 mana you see for remand? That's oh yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
he gets the
Jesus, what am I talking
turn.
about? I'm sorry. It's been a long night, everyone. I'm tired. Like, it's tough work. It's really hard. Hardest work I've done in my life. That's not true. So yeah, it's gonna get in for 6 here. This sort of
very fast clock and odds on of flipping that other Delver.
Sword of Light and Shadow does get to. So we've got Deceiver X here. Sword of Light and Shadow does gain you life.
Only
3 a turn, but then that's a negating of a
3 a turn. But if you're doing that, you're not casting it, and it's not a Restoration Angel. This probably means Anti loses that remand, going to be held up for the rest of this game.
Yeah.
No Berserk, and at least an attack in here for 5,
which is relevant. 5 gain back 3. I mean, that is a race that you are winning. I don't know if he's winning.
Oh, Delver blocking there, interestingly.
Yeah, I actually think that's correct. I think that's what you have to do. You're just like, no, I can't let you gain 3 life. I get you down to a single-digit number.
He took 2 from his own land and 6 from the Delvers, so he's on 12.
Yeah, and what he actually gets to do now, he gets to realize Snapcaster is a creature, which means he doesn't proc. He doesn't proc Voice Resurgence.
He does. It's spells, isn't it?
Is it spells?
I thought so.
No, I don't think it is, man.
Okay, I'm not sure. We'll see here from the trigger. I don't think Anti is going to forget his.
Yeah, no, he won't.
Trigger. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is just instant and sorceries. It was meant to punish those players. So Anti actually is on, I believe, 7 life. Or is it 4? Jeez. Yeah, it's 4. He's on 4 life.
The Delvers have swung for 6, 12.
Yeah, he's on 4. We can see there from Phil's pad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's 19 plays 4. So we're going to see. I mean, and he doesn't have a land for that.
Yeah, indeed, 4 and 17.
He does. Yeah, he has to play Restoration.
He has to play it. He has to play it now, or the remand gets him. Yep.
And you flicker your thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Sure, why not get the value?
So that's not a Phil. There's Lightning Bolt. Game.
Lightning Bolt for the win. That's a very fortunate draw by Phil.
Wow.
I feel that it's a
just Lightning Bolt. Yeah.
It's a bit unfortunate by. Yeah, I think they're discussing that he should have got a.
No, I don't believe so. Let's look up Voice
Resurgence. We'll look it up, but it doesn't matter for now. The game is over. Timely Lightning Bolt, because I feel without that Lightning Bolt that Anti is taking over the game, and I feel again Phil escaping a bad matchup.
Yeah, like just with 1 land, but we see there that Path to Exile just actually like helping Phil immeasurably. So he bought in 2 Blood Moons, a Thoughtseize, and he bought in Colligan's Command just to deal with swords. He was just like, I don't know how to deal with swords besides Colligan's Command.
Phil is in love with his Blue Moons. One non-basic land in play. Phil is slapping those Blood Moons into his deck.
With his 4 basics.
It feels that Blood Moon is not very well placed in this matchup. But he has to try and catch his opponent. I think this is, as I said, a bad matchup overall. So we're going to see maybe if we can get another match, because again that wasn't the slow. It was a bit of a judge call to resolve.
Oh, Anti, that's so disappointing. I was like,
yeah, I feel well positioned that matchup. Very unlucky game 1 with a mulligan to 5, and he has to keep the hand he kept. But not getting there. And in game 3, a timely lightning bolt to finish the game. There's a couple of draws that Phil had to finish the game, but he had to draw them that turn.
I think as well an interesting thing there, at the end, he could have... Oh wait, Restoration Angel is 3-4, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. No, it's all good.
So that's Phil going to trio. I'm not sure where he is on the leaderboard, but as said before, Shane doing his leaving cert, McKaylee not here tonight, and maybe Phil's chance to catch up and book his place into the championships.
Yeah. Do you want me to take a step out, see if we're getting another game in? Or?
Yeah, sure, could you?
Absolutely. We'll try. Having some pretty tight, fast Magic besides even the Scape Shift. Even the Scape Shift matchup.
Even the Scape Shift, especially the Scape Shift matchup. Blood Moon, a very big player in the metagame at the moment, and the Grixis Delver deck's leaning on it very heavily. Very strange to see such a mana-intense triple colour deck with such few basics take advantage of this card, and I think unexpected at the start of the format, though now becoming commonplace. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that glorious worship and play at any stage. You know, there's very few cards in Magic that automatically win a game, and you know, Ante is running 4 of them in his deck against certain matchups. They cannot beat that worship. Players just packing up, seeing if we can get another match on the camera. Phil moving on to 4-0, I believe. That's round 3, so 4-0. Doing really well again with Grixis Delver, a deck that's really showing itself to be a big player in this metagame. And hopefully we'll be seeing more of Ante trolling people at the high tables. This deck, all joking aside, seems very resilient. A lot of individually powerful cards against matchups and some nice synergy. The worship, as I said, free wins against certain matchups.
We only have 10 minutes left in the round. Ante came out still in good spirits because he's like, yeah, I was unlucky to win that match. He had a big troll face on him, pulling a big smile. He's like, yeah, if I ever... Because he was like laughing at Phil freaking out because Phil was just like, yeah, if worship ever comes down, the game is over. I shouldn't win this match ever.
Yeah, really, and just a lot of individually good cards against Phil as well. As we said, Kitchen Finks, great, troll aesthetic. Decent, not as good as it used to be with Angler and Tazagar around, but still decent.
Yeah.
Sort of War and Peace, absolutely mopping up a game. Phil not being able to really deal with an artifact, having to bring in Colligan's command, which isn't good in any other situation in that matchup.
Yeah.
Just so he doesn't auto lose the swords. And we saw there, even with
Restro Angels.
Quad Delver,
Yeah.
Phil was not able to finish off the game. I still would have liked to see how that game went if Ante would have waited to pat. If he waits to see if that Delver flips,
Yeah.
he gets the pat, and then he has to give Phil the decision of keeping the spell on top and drawing it, or searching with the pat.
Phil versus Simon.
Phil
'Cause-
versus Simon.
Yeah, because Simon's in like 6th place in the league at the moment, so this win kind of puts him quite high up there because I don't think Sean or Kieran's have done very well tonight.
Well.
In fact, Kieran's only won 1.
Kill's only won 1
He only beat
against Sean.
I don't know how Sean's done,
Oh.
but everyone else seems to be kind of like really dropped off tonight.
In middle
And,
rounds, sure.
Yeah, and neither McKaylee nor Shane are here.
Yeah, we were
So,
saying that.
Yeah, so Simon's
Both
really,
studying for the leaving cert.
of course. So Simon's kind of like he's got another chance to go 4 like he did last week. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this the next round already, or
Yeah, this
this
is
final round?
Yeah.
Yeah, we only
Yeah,
have 10
we-
minutes left in the last round. And
So,
Yeah,
sorry, did you say Simon is 4-0?
Simon's
3-0.
3-0. Yeah,
So, and
they're both 3-0.
they're both 3-0. So
Yeah.
this is a chance for one of the players to make a big move on the leaderboard. Only 4 weeks left. 4 weeks to new set. 5
Is it?
weeks.
Is it only that long?
Well, like Modern Masters didn't affect rotation. You do need to bring
June.
it set.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
It's like 4 weeks left to the new set, and that's when this league is over.
Yeah, it's just because it's really funny with the time in the shop. You're saying there's around 8 weeks left for between 9 to 5 weeks, between weeks 9 and 5, and then it's just like, oh wait, there is only 4 weeks left now. It's not 8 like we said.
Shane and McKaylee still a point between them at the start at the top of the league.
Yeah,
Sean Fitz still in third,
I believe so.
but doing miserably tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, Shane is going to be both Shane and McKaylee going to be pretty happy that each other didn't turn up.
Yeah. Shane probably missing for 2 weeks, and I believe McKaylee's saying the same though, giving people a real chance to catch up.
Like I said, McKaylee doing league search just for fun.
He's just going to do honours maths and
just to beat Shane at every level. He's like, first I'm going to do better at honours maths, and then I'm going to beat you in the modern league. And then he rips off his shirt. He does a Hulk Hogan strut. It's going to be awesome.
Right. Anyway, we got Simon here. Oh, apologies.
Simon playing Junk Little Kid.
Junk Little Kid, like he was last week. Oh, unfortunate there.
What?
Just flip up one of Simon's cards over.
It's all over. Okay, GG.
Yeah, again, we're at regular rulings, so no warnings doled out there, but a bit unfortunate. Bit of free information for Phil.
Yeah. All that information, it's over.
The most exciting bird matchup: 6 by Simon, 4 by Phil on the plays. Simon, and hugely important. Simon starting with the birds on the play is a lot more intimidating than anything else he can do, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know. Does he play Noble Hierarch?
I do. Oh, he does play Hierarch as well.
So
the percentage of his deck when it starts with a bird as opposed to not is probably huge. Like the win percentage. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really funny. If ever Simon can go turn 2.
Here we see the birds on turn 1.
I love that he was turning it sideways. He was like, "Birds, you," and Phil's like, birds gets me.
I love when birds attacks. Man, I want to play a deck like this just so I have an excuse to one day invest in beta Birds of Paradise.
Look at that, little birds getting bolted in a dance as old as time.
Is that a Beauty and the Beast reference?
No, that is a Morgan Freeman March of the Penguins via oh my god, what's his name? He's my favourite comedian.
I think it was a Beauty and the Beast reference.
It's not.
Tales All This Time?
Nope.
I'm pretty sure you just sang Tales All This Time on the coverage.
No.
I'm gonna get our producer Alex to confirm this, but Eamon basically sang Tales All This Time on coverage.
I can't remember his name. He's an excellent comedian.
Anyway, we'll get back to the match
Kitchen
here.
Finks.
Turn 3 Kitchen Finks by Simon. No play on turn 2 and just a
Let's
Delver.
see, do we have a flip? Flip.
Ooh, straight away flip by the Delver. And that's flipped off a Thought Scour. And Phil going into the tank after that trigger resolve, seeing if he wants to draw this or shuffle away with a Delta. There might be a chance he wants to shuffle away with a chance to get a land.
Yeah.
Drawing a land this turn after also flipping your Delver would be sweet.
Yeah, there's also another...
This is a confirmation from our producer Alex that Tales All This Time is indeed a Beauty and the Beast reference.
Goddamn Morgan Freeman.
And infantry here by the Delver. Delver doing what it does best, getting into the red zone.
There's also this question of like, there's so many moving parts here of like Thought Scour. This deck does play 3 or 4 of them. I mean, let's see, how many does he play? He's playing 3.
Yeah.
And there's a reason you're playing 3, and it's to enable all these delve cards. I mean, sometimes, even though it's not necessarily the best thing you can do right now, it's something you might need for the future. We see it.
Voice of Resurgence met by Spell Snare there. And the Thought Scour being fired off at the end of the turn, targeting himself. Snapcaster and Gurmag Anger hit the bin. Not exactly the spells you want to see hitting the bin,
nope.
But fueling his yard for later delves. He's also cracking, and we're probably going to see a watery grave here, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe a blood crypt. Maybe he needs that double red. I can't get a great look of his hand on any angle here.
Do you know what's funny? One of the best cards in Magic, or in modern Snapcaster Mage, we've seen, there's been lots in lists tonight. We haven't seen very much of them. I think we saw one come down to attack.
Oh, Phil accidentally revealing his mana leak from his hand there. Phil, all butterfingers tonight.
He's all flustered. He's on camera. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have his makeup on.
It's the beard, man. It's hot.
It's hot.
Blood
it is a hot beard.
Yeah,
I'm not
blood
gonna
crypt. Phil needing the double red and black more than he needs the triple blue.
Sometimes.
A Path to Exile on the upkeep.
And we're gonna see.
It's gonna be met by that revealed mana leak.
Boom. So it's fine.
That's okay. That's making Phil tap his mana in his turn. That's when you want his mana tapped. Maybe keeping up room to resolve Liege, preferably.
Yep.
Well, Siege knows what's preferable.
We might be looking at no lands. He's gonna maybe get Taxian Pope, try and find. No, gonna be past turn. Yeah, sometimes
past the turn.
Sometimes I get stare into Phil's beard, and I just get lost in it.
Although we are getting Gataxian Probe here before the passing of the turn.
Yeah.
And we get to see Abrupt Decay voice. Now, this is very interesting. Black mana breaks this game wide open. I don't see any kind of angler in Phil's hand unless he's drawn it there.
No. Phil has Young Pyromancer, Snapcaster Mage, Lightning Bolt, and there's another blue spell. I didn't quite see it. I think it was a Thought Scour. No, it's a Remand, I believe. So, Phil, I think, paused on the Gataxian Probe because he was kind of like, well, next turn if I go land, Young Pyromancer, and get all of the value.
But his life total isn't irrelevant here. Like, he is going to get to bolt this Sphinx if he wants, but he's not going to be winning the race. Ooh, that's an interesting bolt. Preventing 1 damage by bolting the Noble Hierarch and keeping him off 4 mana for important spells like Will to Leaf Leech.
Absolutely.
And just 2 mana for the Voice of Resurgence here as well. This is a tough board for Phil. And he is racing well in the air, but that Kitchen Sphinx is just very hard to deal with. Young Pyromancer are going to come down and probably try and bolt maybe the Voice token, but then you're always in trouble if Simon draws the Lingering Souls.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get a Young Pyromancer probably here.
Absolutely.
We're going to get the value train
and
rolling.
a pass turn.
Yeah, passing.
Not even getting the Lightning Bolt for value.
Passing turn probably means Phil is not intending to play any spell this turn. We're going to maybe the Lightning Bolt next turn, but... Oh, okay.
Ooh. I dig that. That's pretty awesome.
That's fine. That's an efficient way to get rid of this Voice. And 3 mana, Lingering Souls. Now, Simon
found his spot.
No, Simon's gonna regret. Oh, is Phil missing it? Phil misses the opportunity to bolt maybe the token, or does he?
Oh no, you're right. Oh, that's not good. Vault.
So he's going to do a
Snapcaster Vault. Okay, it's
no, he's going to do a token instead. So he has
no. He Snapcasters. He does the token, but now he can Snapcaster Bolt the Elemental.
Yes, he can.
Which, like,
is probably the exact same.
Yeah, he
like doing that play either way results in nearly the exact same thing. The Snapcaster going to be able to jump in the way of this Kitchen Sphinx and shrink it as well if it wants. So Simon contemplating before attack. No, he hasn't drawn anything interesting. We still know that 2 of those lands are Abrupt Decays. 2 of those cards in his hand are Abrupt Decays. And we'll see if he drew a Black Source. Black Source super important. What he wants here is an Ouroborg. He wants to be able to play that Abrupt Decay and flashback that Lingering Souls.
Absolutely.
Just to confirm life totals, Simon on 10 and Phil only on 5. These attacks nearly lethal.
Yeah, so
that Kitchen Sphinx has done a number on
his life
Phil's life total, and Kitchen Sphinx a nightmare for these Quicksilver decks.
So he's gonna have to Lightning Bolt something. I don't think it can. It's the token.
Yeah, he's
got another Lightning Bolt in hand.
He wants to be able to race. He doesn't want to try and trade with this Kitchen Sphinx, which is very hard to.
Okay, he gets to block the Elemental.
He might do something with
so he gets 2/3. The Elemental is dead. So is Snapcaster Mage, and you see here this Voice.
Black Source not. Black Source would have pretty much ended the game on the spot there.
Black Source not achieved, but we got to see there that that Voice was just a huge 2-for-1. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to see. Usually, this Grixis that can
deal with it with a Gurmag Angler or something. Well, no,
but like ignore one thing.
Sure.
It can. So Phil has chosen to ignore the Sphinx this whole time. Now he's on chump blocking duty, but he's chosen to ignore the Sphinx the entire time. He can't choose to ignore the Sphinx and the Voice. There's too much of a clock.
Yeah.
And they're attacking him too much.
That's a trade.
Takes the trade, gains 2 life. So Simon pretty safely out of range here. That Kitchen Sphinx should have a counter on it.
And it should be untapped. But so Phil has a Remand. Now there is got excellent. The fetch.
Black Source, perfect. Remand is going to be able to save Phil here, though. Remand on the Abrupt Decay, even though it can't be countered, will produce a 1/1.
Yes.
1/1 token. Actually works out pretty well if Phil knows this interaction.
I once got reprimanded by a judge for trying to counter an uncounterable spell.
The judge was wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad to know.
Very wrong. You can counter an uncounterable spell, it just won't be countered on resolution of the spell.
Yeah, you can still target it.
Yes, and here we go. He's still going to get to draw the card off the remand. It's going to resolve. He's going to get that Pyromancer token.
Do you still swing in with the Sphinx?
I don't know.
His life is very low.
I wouldn't, because because that 1/1 isn't doing anything for Phil, and now removal spell is live. You also have a Abrupt Decay currently in hand that can't be countered.
Yeah.
So Phil needs to draw a second blocker.
So this Serum Vision's letting him go 3 deep, and there's a Tassiger and another Serum Vision. So that Tassiger is going to go straight to the top.
But let's see if he...
No, it was a land. It was a polluted delta, I believe.
So he's just going to fire off an Abrupt Decay. There's very little incentive not to here. And go for the free win. In for 2. And that's it.
Boom.
They can go through emotion. So yeah, nice interaction there. Just for players who don't know, uncounterable spells can still be targeted by counter spells. Nowhere on the card does it say you can't target the spell.
Yeah,
just on resolution it can't. You can't
counter.
target.
Yeah.
You can't counter. Sorry.
It's just counters do not work.
Yeah.
It's like
but
you can
this
target.
way with the remand, you can still draw the card.
Yeah, it's like with indestructible creatures. You can still target them with the removal. They just won't die.
Yes. You've seen this a lot. This also means that if a player mana leaks your uncounterable spell at a competitive tournament, you don't have to let them take it back to your hand. That is their mistake to make, and the spells have both resolved.
Absolutely.
There's nothing illegal about those plays. It also you saw the lot in Old Modern where people would hold up remand and someone would play the Luxton that can't be countered.
Yeah.
And they'd remand it just because they now need an answer to the Luxton. They're just cycling.
Absolutely. So, Phil has 2 Spell Sky, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Vandal Blast, 2 Rakdos Charm, 1 Colligan's Command, 1 Flash Freeze, 1 Negate, 1 Dispel, 1 is a Charm, 2 Thoughtseize. So,
Flash Freeze is coming in here probably, but it's still not extremely good. It just doesn't hit everything.
Yeah.
It hits the Liege, which is troublesome, and it hits the Voice, which is troublesome.
Do you think this is a classic Phil slam those 2 Blood Moons?
I don't know when Phil doesn't sideboard in Blood Moon. I saw him sideboard him in against Mono Green the other day. Elves are struggled with their forests against. No, joking aside.
It turns off Nick though.
Yeah, you kind of need Blood Moon in this matchup, even though the mana looks good on Simon's side because he can fetch basics and he has the Noble Hierarchs.
Absolutely.
The Blood Moon also shuts off Gavney Township, which is incredibly relevant. And as we've said, this Grixis Delver deck runs a lot better off like 2 red, 1 blue, 1 black than other decks do off 1 white, 1 green, 1 black, and for example, an Absan.
I think as well with the Blood Moon player, you can actually kind of mask. I see bad Blood Moon players. What they do is they kind of fetch up their own basics. Of like this deck is actually predominantly red with blue and then a small splash of black. So what you can actually do is you can fetch up your red shocklands.
Yeah.
And kind of represent, I don't have Blood Moon. Like bad players would be like, oh, okay, they're not Blood Moon because they're getting their fetches or they're getting their shocklands. Then you go, no, I'm happy with these just being mountains that I have to pay 2 life for to trick you.
Yeah, for sure.
To turn off potentially 3 of your land. So it's going to be really interesting. We're going to see, like, it's unfortunate he can't do it with his blue or black sources, but his black sources he only needs like 1.
Yeah.
He needs just 1 swamp, and his blue sources.
I don't know. I like Blood Moon in this matchup. It's just enough you need to shut down. If you Lightning Bolt their first couple of plays in Blood Moon so they can't get a Leech or a Rhino down, that they're only ever playing small creatures. And as I said, it's pretty important to take them off Township sometimes, and it's one of your best answers to Township. Also, an interesting thing is Simon always has to play around Blood Moon anyway.
Sure.
Simon has to be conscious of fetching up basics anyway, whether Phil brings them in or not, and that's the nice thing about Grixis Delver at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here we got a bit of a look at Phil's opener. I see at least 2 lands and 2 lightning bolts. I don't think I see Quad Delver this time.
It's really funny. Phil always seems to be going in the tank over a thing, and I'm like, whenever I see someone go in the tank, I'm like, oh, they're going to mulligan that. Phil just never does.
No,
he just goes, oh god, my hand, I'll keep, and it's perfect.
PV made a very good argument about this. Like, you don't always have to snap keep. Even if your hand is a snap keep, you should maybe give yourself 2 seconds to contemplate over what your first 2 turns are and what they look like.
Absolutely. I find a lot of people kind of go, oh, I've got 4 spells and 3 land, but those 4 spells don't do anything. You know what I mean? They're like...
Phil shocks himself down to 18 and starts off with a Delver of Secrets.
Yeah, he knows he has to be the aggressor. He has to really firmly show his role in the match. And especially when he's on the cliff. Look at that, showing penmanship in a different kind of way.
And this seems to be greater discussion than most plays these guys are making in this. Let's see if Simon has the one drop to mirror Phil this time again. As we said, so essential in this matchup, making Phil have to use a bolt if he has one. You know, if he doesn't, we're looking at a turn 2 Lingering Souls instead.
Which is...
Or a Thoughtseize into a voice, which is very important. And here we see a Overgrown Tomb, so this might mean Thoughtseize coming down. Phil not able to do much about this, tapped out.
Or as well, Simon could be conscious of, I didn't have black for so long last game. Yeah. No, I am getting my black source.
Noble Hierarch probably going to be met by Phil's bolt. Holding up another bolt and a Spell Snare, I believe. Spell Snare remand? Getting in for 1. Did he forget to trigger there? Because he drew very fast.
I don't think so. I mean, he's pretty good. But yeah, I didn't see the draw.
I didn't see the draw either. It might have been this land that he's fetching. Another Delver, maybe? Another Delver. Maybe I was wrong. Quad Delver's on the way again for Phil.
To save the day.
Halfway there.
Here he comes to save the day.
That might have also been his draw for the turn, because I'm not sure I saw that as an initial hand. Now, again, echoing the K. Blowing people out. Not enough people playing in this format.
We need a Maelstrom Pulse right now. Yeah. I love that you're like echoing the K, and I'm like, or Maelstrom Pulse.
It costs 1 less mana and instant. Broken.
What does it do?
-2/-2. It's echoing truth.
Oh, but it's
black.
And it's just -2/-2. Yeah. I think it's pretty sweet.
It saw a decent amount of play.
Like,
beats up Lingering Souls.
Takes down Twin. Stops the combo.
Stops the combo for a turn. He still has a guy with a twin on it.
Boom. Sometimes you just need a turn.
No, Anyway.
Sometimes you just need a turn.
We got a fetch here for Basic Plains by Simon, conscious of his life because 2 Delvers on the other side, waiting to go to work. We're going to get a voice here, maybe? No, Kwazai Pride Mage.
Yeah.
3/3 beater. Watchwolf that hates Affinity. First trigger on stack. Maybe we're going to get a Thought Scour here from Phil.
Yeah.
Maybe not. He doesn't want to maybe bottleneck his mana. Also, if that's a Gurmag Angler, it's a pretty good guy to have on top of your deck at the moment.
Yeah, he has a Lightning Bolt and a Thought Scour and a land. And he's just looking at it and he's like, no, he's going to draw.
Blood Moon. Blood Moon's interesting here. Cutting Simon both off green and black. And you know, Simon's mana is pretty good, and he runs a lot of basics and he runs a lot of mana guys, but sometimes Blood Moon gets you, and Blood Moon not actually affecting Phil negatively that much at all.
Is Blood Moon 1 red, 2 red? 1 red.
1 red.
Oh. Blood Moon catapulting up in price. It's like $50 now.
Blood Moon should be triple red. Unplayable in every format.
You're not a fan of Blood Moon, are you, Dave?
It's one of the reasons I hate Modern so much at the moment. Anyway, we get a draw from Simon. Contemplation. Let's see if we see Basic Forest. No, we see Basic Mountain.
Yeah. What happens?
I think yes, again for 3, these Delvers are likely to flip and you don't want to miss that 3 damage. Basic Forest turns on a decent amount of his deck again.
Absolutely. What happens if I don't know what I was about to say. What? Just drifted off into Phil's beard.
Contemplation here by Simon, but there's not many plays for 1 white mana. He might be considering flying off a Pot of Exile now, as extra basics don't really mean much to Phil, but Racing Tree. Ooh, Lingering Souls. Excellent.
That was this game getting blown open.
Excellent. An Electro Eyes could fix it here from Phil, but I haven't seen one in his hand yet. Will these Delvers flip or... No, not a flip again. And this time he only has one...
Counterflux? Is that a Counterflux?
No,
it's Staticaster.
Yeah, in for 2 damage, kill those Lingering Soul tokens with Staticaster.
He's like reading it like, oh no, you have an answer to Lingering Souls.
Maelstrom Pinger.
Maelstrom Pinger, is that?
Maelstrom Pinger.
Is that its name? Okay.
Do we get a Basic Forest this time from Simon?
Swing for 3 again.
Lingering Soul's no longer a good draw for him. Or will we see another Basic Mountain played this turn?
Yeah, he's just like,
pump faking those Lingering Souls.
But then Phil is like, awesome. And it's really funny because Phil has 2 cards in hand. Simon has 5, but just can't deploy any.
Phil's had that Thought Scour for the last couple of turns and has considered trying to make that second Delver flip a few times, but his draws have been too good.
I think
I'd like to see his density of spells at the moment, actually. Yeah. Blood Moon and Stratocaster.
I was about to say, it's like, surely this Thought Scour gets worse because I'm bound to hit a spell sometime.
Man, I think the one weakness, it's hard to sideboard with this deck because the Delvers stay in anyway, and you have the Stern Visions to manipulate, but you don't have a lot of manipulation outside of that. And blowing up the Blood Moon.
Yeah, that's a fair play. He gets to fetch.
Play that he could have made last turn as well, but I guess not knowing about the Stratocaster.
Yeah.
Much prefer the Basic Forest and being able to naturally play a spell there, but Unfortunate. Also freeing up Phil's second blue, which isn't completely irrelevant.
Absolutely. So let's see. But, you know, you managed to...
Again, it's Pyromancer, good enough for him not to Thought Scour in response. Because Thought Scour is just going to get a token here. Fetch end of turn.
Getting a swamp, I imagine.
Once one Blood Moon is gone,
You kind of just have to be like...
do you kind of just not play around the second one? Like, that's a consideration.
Maybe you can't.
Here.
Like...
Yeah, like, losing to... it's such a tiny percent that there's not a Blood Moon in Phil's hand.
Yes.
Like, it's a very small percent that second Blood Moon is in Phil's hand. There's no way of telling if he has it with the way he's played. It's impossible to tell that.
Yeah.
So percentage-wise, it's just small that it's in his hand. Do you just say, no, I rather win because my mana is good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now one. Like, do I rather win because I can definitely cast, like, a Siege Rhino if I have it?
Sometimes you have to play to win instead of not lose.
Yeah, exactly. And Blood Moon causes people to play not to lose. It puts them in that hard situation either way. Because the problem is now, if Phil does have a second Blood Moon, Simon just loses just because he wants to play his spells.
Absolutely. How dare he want to play his spells?
3-man and Thought Scour and Lightning Bolt hanging out in Phil's hand.
Is his hand just like full of 4-drops?
It looks it. No fourth land here by Simon and maybe a passing of the turn. He's thinking maybe...
Or maybe it's just like 3 Lingering Souls.
He could be Lingering Souls heavy. Like, he chose not to blow up that Blood Moon the first time he could after he swung for 3.
Absolutely.
And he could have got a Birds of Paradise and play off that, but the Stratocaster looks like it's doing some serious work by having that Lingering Soul stay in the graveyard already.
Yeah.
Contemplation by Simon.
Oh, I thought he was about to scoop for a sec. Feels like, come on, man, what can you do?
Phil has played matchups like this many times. Junk, very favoured in the metagame at the moment. Knew exactly what he's doing. I see a blood. I see a Godless Shrine in hand. But as I've thought, it might be getting low enough that Godless Shrine's a liability to cost some top.
Absolutely. Oh, he's going to take 2. Siege Rhino.
Siege Rhino. So only taking one mana not able to counter it. Siege Rhino pretty perfect here, and he's going to hold off those Pyromancer tokens for a couple of turns.
Yeah. If next turn if he can somehow get a...
It's 11 now to Simon and only 7 to Phil. Phil taking a lot of damage off his own lands, and I believe 9 off that Kazai Pride Mage.
Yeah, absolutely. Lasting a lot longer than I thought it would, especially...
These Delvers. Don't flip. But that's another good non-creature, non-spell.
He missed the Thought Scour last turn.
He chose not to. He wanted to have young... he drew young Pyromancer.
No.
Gurmag Angler, good enough to not have a...
Not to flip some Delvers.
To not flip some Delvers. But there's not going to be an attack this turn from any of Phil's creatures, I would imagine. He could attack, lose his Pyromancer, and those Delvers could get in. Passing of the turn.
So...
Infest.
No.
Sword of Light... War and Peace. But that Gurmag Angler gunking up the ground well enough here. That Sword and War and Peace is going to have very little effect on this game. Very hard to get a view of any other Simon's cards. I'd imagine if it's multiple Rhinos, he might have a chance here. Another Rhino past the turn is not a bad way to go if that's what he has in hand.
The fact that he's looking at the sword makes me think he's like, damn, do I have to take 2 turns to put on this sword? Because what Phil can do is he can block with Gurmag Angler and the 2 Delvers.
He can't just play the sword because Gurmag just gets to attack next turn. He has to chump.
Yeah.
If those Delvers flip and Gurmag attacks, he has to chump.
What life is Simon on?
Simon's on 11 at the moment.
Yeah.
So he'd have to chump a Gurmag
I'd really want to know what's in his hand.
Yeah.
It must be a bunch of tokens or 1 toughness guys who would just die.
Yeah, if he has any 2-mana answer to this...
That seems like a fine play.
Uncounterable Elephant, but it mightn't be good enough. This Delver flipping is going to cause a lot of trouble. And if Phil fires off this Lightning Bolt that we still know he has, it can actually kill the Luxes in...
Still not flipping!
In fairness, this is a bit unfortunate by Phil, but his percentages, he has Anglers, he has Statocasters.
He's got land.
He has... I would say he is under 50%.
Yeah,
to flip that Delver.
We can
calculate.
Well, we'd have to take into
4
account
Delvers,
all of the cards he's
4
played.
4 Pyromancers, 4 Tazagar or Gurmag Anglers, 4, 7,
10, 12, 14. 14 creatures.
14, then 2 Blood Moons.
And I presume it's 18 land.
Yeah, but then 2 Blood Moons, 16.
Yeah, you're right, below 50.
Yeah, below 50% every time. Now, by now it's considerable, but he's had chances also to Thought Scour those draws away.
Absolutely.
So, frustrating that he isn't getting the free win of the flip, but...
Maybe he's missing Serum Visions as well as a way of fixing it so that they flip.
Yeah, maybe
that is a big part
maybe
of the
not
plan.
entirely in his favour. Like, his deck is a lot more... Like, his deck has a lot of lands left in it, 15 lands left in his deck. Still a lot of creatures left in that deck at the moment as well. Still over 4 or 5 turns. It's been a bit longer than that even. He's on favourite. But every time he hasn't drawn a spell, it's been a creature that's really affected the game positively for him. If he hadn't drawn that Stratocaster, those Lingering Souls would be taking over the game.
Sorry, is he flashing back Lingering Souls?
Looks like he might be. Lingering Souls in play.
Does he know what Stratocaster does?
He does, but let's see what...
Stratocaster kills it. That was just...
Maybe he doesn't have another play, seeing if Phil remembers. And finally, Gataxian Probe has those Delvers flip. Gataxian Probe also going to give us a look at the hand here. But Lightning Bolt in the hand means I don't think Simon is long for this world. 2 swings and he's out. Also, Pyromancer. So Pyromancer and the Gataxian Probe could be a play here.
Well, what life is Phil on?
Phil is still on 7, as far as I know.
That was after losing 3 for Rhino.
Yes.
Okay.
Gataxian Probe for blue, being very cautious here. No reason to...
Yeah, I don't get...
And we see birds, Lingering Souls, sword.
Yeah, I don't get why you don't deploy the swords. I mean, that's going to be your only way out. I know
because it's not even a way out is the problem. I don't know. Simon was just clutching at desperation. Maybe Phil somehow forgets that Stratocaster's in play. You can equip a sword and put it onto the Rhino.
No, you just die. Yeah, because if you put it onto Rhino, you swing with...
Trample over for 1.
Yeah, you swing at Gurmag Angler, you trample over for 1, but you...
Lose the Rhino.
Yeah.
Oh no, you don't lose the Rhino.
Well, no, because you're going to get blocked by more than 1.
You can't because it's pro-red.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, no, Simon just made a bit of a mistake. You could probably die in the crackback pretty easily.
Sure.
That's the thing. Like, that Rhino is doing a job of keeping off a Pyromancer, 2 tokens, and an Angler.
But you're losing anyway.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I think it's just a misplay.
Finks! To the rescue!
No,
is it enough?
The bolt in the hand for Phil is going to do it here. Slight misplay by Simon. Maybe not realising just 1 trample damage is enough to go over the Angler.
Yep.
2 birds. Both those birds are going to get Stratocaster out of the sky, I imagine.
Boom.
Ping.
Yeah, Stratocaster.
And a ball for the win.
Stratocaster being excellent.
Stratocaster is very good. Exactly the matchup this card is meant for. So it would have been interesting if he had chosen to deploy that sword and equip it next turn.
Yep.
It meant that 1 extra Delver would have had to stay probably on the defense and try and eat that Rhino.
Absolutely.
But, easy to say from here when we have both players' perfect hands up.
Absolutely.
Not as easy to say.
Well, that's a play from Simon's view, I think. Just purely from Simon's view. I gotta know what Phil had in hand.
Maybe Simon legitimately forgetting about this Stratocaster as well. We don't know. We're gonna have to ask him after.
No, I don't think so. The fact that he was clutching Lingering Souls and birds for so long and couldn't play them purely because of Stratocaster. Just didn't find a way of dealing with it. I mean, his deck only has, I imagine, like 3 or 4 paths and then maybe 1 or 2 dismembers. He's got a few abrupt decays as well, and unfortunately he couldn't find them to deal with Stratocaster and really blow this game open.
Probably has 4 pots, right?
Yeah, I said 3 or 4. Like, I mean, it's debatable.
Yeah.
So yeah, looks like that's it. Are they going to play a 3rd game for funsies?
Not sure.
Or is it 1-1?
No, it's 1-1.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Phil lost game 1.
You're right, you did. It's just it was so long ago. We were staring at Blood Moons and Stratocasters for so long.
Oh, very interesting game there. A few different lines both players could have taken. Phil choosing to draw some important creatures instead of attempting to flip Delvers, which could have taken over the game, as Simon never really found a removal for either of them.
By the way, something to be mentioned. Phil did all that in 3 land.
Yeah, this deck functions very well off 3 lands.
Which is something big. Like, I mean, that's...
Sure, he only runs 18 or something.
Yeah. But I mean, he must have been happy with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he is. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Like, if you're running 18, you can't ever expect to draw more than 3 lands or you're reliably.
You're like, it's hard to tell if he's happy. His smile never quite reaches his eyes.
Yeah.
It only hits his beard.
We're going to get Simon on the play this time. I think a contemplation over both of them keeping. The mulligan by Phil. Simon looking like he's decided to keep. Simon feeling the effects of the night. Yawn's going on for days.
That's Phil, not Simon. How dare you? How very dare you, sir? But yeah, it's tough. I mean, it is late night. A lot of these guys are getting in from work and just coming here to play Modern Wednesday nights. Star City Games game night. They're playing for tokens, for boosters, huge amount of boosters.
And most importantly, qualification spots for the Series Championship at the end of the year.
For the Invitational, absolutely. That's what it's all about. And
turn 1 Noble Hierarch here versus Simon. And of course Delver. I've never seen Phil without his trusty Delver alongside him.
I think I saw him not doing it once and I was like scared. I was like, what?
A lingering Souls or Luxus and Knight here would put a lot of pressure on Phil. I think he's tapping it, telling it it has to flip, giving it instructions.
It's like you. So we have an Electrolyze and Mana Leak as well from Phil.
Electrolyze is going to do a lot of work against this lingering Souls. That's probably going to be cost.
Second Forest.
Yeah, Forest, no fetches, just natural Forest.
Hold on, I thought I saw White Source in his hand. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he has White Source in play though. Doesn't need it. And if he forces that Noble Hierarch to be bolted.
It was not a White Source. It was Voice of Resurgence.
Voice of Resurgence here. I don't mind leading with the lingering Souls there.
Yeah. So pass turn, no flipping.
Flip.
Oh, fumble
again. He's tired. He's feeling the effects of the night. The 4-0 pressure on him.
So let's see. Are we going to see a third land from Simon?
Probably an attack for 3 and a Verdant Catacombs. Very good land from Simon.
Yeah, he's going to get to be able to find a black source here.
Fetch straight up. And I think he's just going to play pre-combat spells. Make sure nothing happened. No combat shenanigans to kill that. Voice maybe. Just so he can get extra value if Phil wants to counter the spell he's going to play.
Sure,
Siege Rhino would be massive here. Siege Rhino kind of demanding a remand and netting a token.
Siege Rhino is always massive, though. He's massive here, he's massive there. He's massive everywhere.
It's not massive in Legacy.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and here we go. Siege Rhinoceros. Dr. Rhinoceros.
He is not a doctor!
Official PhD. Not Mana Leak, and will the trigger be remembered? Oh, this is so unfortunate.
Remember the trigger. Don't write it. Remember the trigger. And he has to wait for the land. Boom! Taps!
Okay, we got it. We got the trigger. And that token is very important. Game-winningly important at this stage of the game. Lingering Souls hanging out in Simon's hand. An attack for 3 surely coming in here from a Voice of Resurgence.
Never has a dice been so mighty.
Attack for 3 from a Voice of Resurgence. And next turn we're going to be looking at a Lingering Souls being on the stack with a token in play and a Voice of Resurgence in play.
Absolutely. And Simon kind of thinking, my Lightning Bolt just hit you for 3, but it's still on the table. I get to keep hitting you with my Lightning Bolt.
This is very unfortunate situation. And Electrolyze being able to handle maybe the Voice if he chooses here, but those tokens, leaving behind those tokens is massive. And that Delver not flipping again, I think he drew a land that turn. Phil and his 4-0 record in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's just, it might be slipping out of his grasp.
Also, Phil already on 13 from his lands.
Wow.
The Grixis Delver deck.
It's very demanding, yeah. Very harsh on the life. Once again, Simon not able to control his pen.
Poor penmanship.
And
when we see the Lingering Souls hit the stack here. Pump it. 1 white.
1 white. 1 green. 1 green.
1 black.
1 black. He's leaving up the mono green. There's the Lingering Souls, and he's just like, that
happens.
happens.
To gather resolve. Big dice, and here comes some attacks. I take it.
That's some Las Vegas dice we got right there.
It is Las Vegas dice.
Swing 4. Oh, he's swing. Yeah, so he's going to Electrolyze.
Going to Electrolyze the Lingering Souls tokens, but it's going to be replaced by a Voice of Resurgence token.
And he is going to be taking
6 at the moment. Is Delver already on chump block duty?
I think he got a chump block here.
No, Phil back then 7. If he chumps, how does he win?
Yeah.
How's he winning this if a chump is put in place?
I believe the oh, he's got a lot of land.
Echoing Truth would be excellent. All the echoing spells
should be seeing play.
Should be seeing play.
What's the green? Let me guess. The green only pumps.
+2/+2. Echoing Courage. Echoing Courage would
would
also be great for Simon here.
Yes. Oh, we're terrible commentators. What's white do? Like gain 2 life per player?
I don't know.
Name a player gains 2 life.
I think it was Disenchant.
Okay.
I think it was Echoing Disenchant. I'm not sure though.
Anyway, so
one back here. Tazagar. Tazagar will help stem the bleeding a bit as Phil falls to 6 after that fetch.
And he has to throw away everything. Well, maybe not. Maybe
no, he gets to keep 1. Right.
But he's keeping a bunch. Okay, yeah, he's throwing away all of his lands. Sure.
These tokens, with 1 creature hitting and Lingering Souls in the bin already. 1 creature hitting
does he
play.
Just have 3 lands in hand? He does.
He does. This game is very over. Lingering Souls is going to be flashback, and those tokens both bigger than Tazagar as it stands.
Sure, tapping. He's going to path the Tazagar.
Why not give him more lands?
Wow.
I think he needs it.
Yeah.
And then this flashback Lingering Souls should be all she wrote, folks.
It's going to be fairly bad. So how big are those tokens? Are going to be 6/6s?
Yes.
And he
and then with the voice as well. Both tokens lethal.
So 14 damage.
And Phil always making people play. And another Lingering Souls. Woo! Just to make sure. The attacks and the concession. Hard look to Phil, getting a bit flooded there. But that's the kind of start he's always going to struggle to beat.
Yeah. It's like 4 spells.
And in case you survived, I had the township.
He saw 10 lands and 4 spells, and that just happens.
It just happens sometimes. You know, it's hard to calculate that when 3 of the spells are 3 of the cards are fetch lands, so you've only actually seen 7 technically.
I saw all of them. I could count. They're on the table.
But at the same time, as I said, Phil could have drawn very well and still struggled to beat that kind of start.
Absolutely. And
like, he used his mana for the first couple of turns. He didn't draw better spells, but Voice of Resurgence can still be a pain to deal with, especially being backed up with those Lingering Souls. He really needed a Stratocaster early in that game, and he just didn't hit it.
Yeah, Stratocaster can do all sorts to mess with elementals, try and lower down their power and toughness, and just take them down.
So Simon going to 3-0-1, not 4-0, so the only undefeated though on the night. I don't think he's that close to breaking into the top 2 or 3 players. I don't think he's going to be able to qualify this season in Modern. But that's a bit of a blow to Phil, who I think is a bit closer to the top of the leaderboard.
So what actually happens is, technically at every point, the best players, like at the first season of the year, the best players should probably be going through the Invitational, as long as they stick with it, have a lot of stalwartness in going through every event and managing to get enough points to get through to the Invitational. And then the second best, and then the third best.
That's why I hear this handsome man, Dave C. Murphy, has been dominating the standard portion.
Only because we let you, because we feel sorry for you. So what actually happens is, the more it goes on, the better a chance you have of getting into the invitation.
Yeah, Shane, for example, already qualified. He's just playing for the boxes. McKaylee's still playing for qualification, though, one of the better players. Sean Fitz, another player who's already qualified but playing for those boxes at the end of this season. So we're looking at 3rd or 4th place, maybe. Well, McKaylee's still in 2nd. It's McKaylee's to lose, and we're looking at him at 2nd place.
But even playing for nightly prize handouts of 3 boosters per player.
This is not here.
What?
It's 2 boosters per player for Modern.
2 boosters per player. Standard, 3 boosters per player. Huge prize for you.
Huge prize. The Modern also gets the adorable tokens,
which are worth money
from the Star City.
There's only 2 places in Europe that currently do it, in all of Europe, and we're one of them. Those tokens are they're worth a bit.
More than that, they have sentimental value.
They do. Some of those kittens will never ever be leaving trade folders or boxes. They will be used as tokens. Right now we have bees.
I've heard Suzanne has offered many of her firstborn children for those kittens.
Yes. I am not surprised. She loves cats. But yeah, so it's that's just what you're going to be finding if you come down here for Modern on Wednesdays. There's also Draft on Tuesday, Standard on Thursday, Sealed on Friday, Commander as well on Friday. We play that here.
That's unfortunate for you.
I think it's great fun. I don't get stressed out. I just get to beat people with like 12. How big were today? I made 22, 24 soldiers, and then I killed everyone. It was great. How could you not be having fun, sir? The only way you can have more fun is when you have no answer to twin in hand, and you let them, and they go, I have twin, and then you go, twin for how many?
You make them go through all the motions. You modo them.
Yeah, you're just like, how many twins
It's like a modo that the Anafenza deck technically loses some games where it should have won because it takes too long to go infinite. So they only go up to like 35.
Awesome.
Because the triggers, there's like 5 triggers for every life you gain.
Wow.
So they're like, okay, I'll go to 25. And then they kill your guys like, oh,
but
25 is ultimately winnable.
But it's like excellent when you have Rakdos Charm mana up, when you have the black-red, and you're like, sorry, how many tokens do you make? And then they just like, what life are you on? And it's like, oh, I'm on 20, and I am on 13 life. Oh.
Okay, so that's all we had for today. The rest of the matches are winding down. We're near the end of the evening, almost 10 o'clock. We see Simon as our winner and moving up the leaderboard this week.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you for sticking here tonight and listening to us, frankly,
Babble.
I think incoherently event magic. We'll be here every Wednesday covering Modern, and hopefully there's plans to move back to Thursday for a bit of Standard, but we'll see how that goes.
I think it might be setting up for this week. We'll keep you posted if you get onto our Twitter account. It's @SeriousMTG. On Facebook you can find us at Serious Business as well, and of course on Twitch. All of those links are actually underneath this video.
Just scroll down.
Scroll
straight down. Give us a follow.
Ignore the chat to the right. They probably don't know what they're talking about. Telling us we're terrible.
Throw us a follow. If you like any of this, we'll keep you updated. We're constantly trying to turn out new content. Alex, our producer, doing a stream there for his first Modern Master
Absolutely.
Draft, and we're gonna keep trying to get this content over to you.
Right now, we're actually trying to set up a podcast
Yeah.
with you, myself, Daniel Gilligan, our local man with an opinion, and I think you're our man with an opinion.
I have never had an opinion about anything, sir. How dare you?
I've just told the truth. So we're going to try and get that on board, and as well, maybe another person as well hopping in on that. We'll see.
Anyway, from tonight,
we might just say maybe we'll get LSV.
Maybe.
We might. I'm not saying we will. I'm saying we might. There's a chance we could get LSV.
There's a non-zero chance.
There is a non-zero chance of it.
Anyway, from tonight, I've been Dave C. Murphy. This has been
Eamon Jones.
Thanks for joining us, and good luck and good night.